Zuck's fired up, right? I'm not wrong. He's fired up. But is he scared, or is he just maybe trying to fight? You know, he's got that dog in him. Zuck has thoughts about using the Apple Vision Pro.
All right, guys. So I finally tried Apple's Vision Pro.
And he's here to share it with all of us, and the internet is totally having it. And he's kind of slamming the Apple Vision Pro after using it, claiming, quote,
I don't just think that Quest is the better value. I think that Quest is the better product, period.
Zuckerberg put this video out pretty quickly and yeeted it onto X. It's 3 minutes in length. Let's cover it. Stick around to the end because you're not gonna want to miss this. Be kind. It's 6 a.m. and I'm just jumping on to film this because I woke up and my whole timeline was full of this video. It's really taken up all of the thoughts today. This morning, and I have a few, so let me finish my coffee and we'll get to it. Alright, first I want to discuss the 35 seconds of the intro. The first 35 seconds of the video explain how he used the Apple Vision Pro and how his assumptions of the Quest being a better product was proven correct. In his mind. I'd like to point out that each one of these products kind of has its own unique case uses, but there are a lot obviously shared case uses for each product as well. Before we start with Zuck's ideas and thoughts about the Apple Vision Pro, let me just say mine. From demos, it's super clear that Apple has an amazing OS, and that really does support the user experience when using any sorts of things that's going to be strapped to your face. Even though the hardware is beautifully designed and the ecosystem doesn't completely suck.
Companies made different design decisions for the headsets. They have different strengths. But overall, Quest is better for the vast majority of things that people use mixed reality for. Now, my friend Kenny is actually capturing this video on Quest's high-resolution mixed reality pass-through right now. We're just here in my living room, and
within the first 30 seconds of the video, Mark is already letting us know that the entire video has been recorded with Quest 3. High-quality pass-through does make for a pretty decent video. This seems a bit tame, so I just wanted to start with that because the video starts there. Almost in the next sentence, he brings up the fact that the Quest Pro's use cases are more social.
But we also designed it to be great for a lot of other things. Moving around, playing games, hanging out with friends and socializing, working out, and more.
A lot of the complaints around Vision Pro were cables, and we'll get there in a second, but also the fact that it was an isolating experience. That meaning a lot of the things that you could do in the Apple Vision Pro were just things that you could do alone, not with anybody else that had an Apple Vision Pro or any sort of sense of camaraderie once you get into the space. This is a lot different than the notion of a metaverse, right? That's inherently his social notion. I did want to start there because I think discussing the lack of social application for the Vision Pro is an underutilized and under-discussed topic. But it's a concern nonetheless, which is why it's in this video, and why Zuck is discussing it. All I'm saying is for $3K, I'd like more applications to use it with my friends who also had $3,000 to drop on this product. If it's going to be a flex, I'd like to flex with people that could also flex. I didn't even buy it, by the way. I'm not going to be spending that much money on an isolating product, but I would probably buy it in maybe 3 more iterations once those apps are built out even more so. At 105, Mark really begins to dig in.
Quest, I think is just a lot more comfortable. We designed it to weigh 120 grams less, which makes a really big difference on your face. There's no wires that get in the way when you move around. It's a big deal. Our field of view is wider, and I found our screen to be brighter also. I also noticed that Apple's headset has this motion blur as you move around, which Quest is just a lot crisper.
Zuck really begins to lay out some of the more obvious concerns for the Apple Vision Pro that MetaQuest doesn't have. He says the weight is more than a form factor here, and it's kind of essential for the longevity of a product, especially a product that you wear every day. So for both form and design, it is essential to eventually lose the wires or make it less heavy. We should keep in mind that it's the Apple Vision Pro's first launch, and I can only assume that it's going to be better with each iteration. But this is kind of also where Zuck reneges for one of the first times.
Now, Apple's screen does have a higher resolution, and that's really nice.
This is the part where he starts to explain the true visual differences. Once you put the headset on, he explains that Quest 3 does have a field of view that is brighter and much wider than the Vision Pro, which does make the experience all a bit crisper. This is also the part where he notes that the resolution is higher in the Apple Vision Pro, which I think is pretty important for the overall experience for the user. It is nice that he acknowledges that about resolution. I think that's one of the big distinguishing factors here.
But I was surprised by how many trade-offs they had to make to the quality of the device and the comfort and ergonomics and other aspects of the display and artifacts in order to get to that.
Next, at the 2-minute mark, he begins talking about eye tracking.
Apple's eye tracking is really nice. We actually had those sensors back in Quest Pro. We took them out for Quest 3, and we're going to bring them back in the future.
He mentions it almost like he knew it was a really good idea that he just couldn't convince the team to implement in a cost-efficient way. I might just be assuming things here, but it was such a cool feature of the Apple Vision Pro to not be able to have to, use any controllers in your hands. And yes, both do have eye tracking capabilities, but like Mark said, it's not in the most recent Quest. They took that feature out, which does suck because I found a lot of the most compelling use cases to come out of that feature. One example that comes to mind is creating anything, whether it be like code, animations, trimming in Premiere Pro, all that stuff that you do tactilely that you could do with eye tracking is dope. It's dope. But you know what I mean? Not only does it make it more accessible, but it also allows you to, eat hot chips and have dirty hands and then proceed to do that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. Not getting hot chip on the keyboards, I'm here for that.
It's a nice interface. It's not perfect for everything, though. For typing or complex tasks, you're going to want things like hands or a keyboard or controllers or eventually a neural interface for those kind of inputs.
He asserts here with a little bit of attitude at the end of the video that his Meta, company and their Quest 3 is open.
Now, look, I know that, some fanboys get upset whenever anyone dares to question if Apple's going to be the leader in a new category. But the reality is that every generation of computing has an open and a closed model. And yeah, in mobile, Apple's closed model won. But it's not always that way. If you go back to the PC era, Microsoft's open model was the winner. And in this next generation, Meta is going to be the open model, and I really want to make sure that the open model wins out again.
He does claim that, Meta has open systems. Open systems, that's right, open. I'm putting it in quotes because it's not really open. Maybe it will be more so in the future, but it's just not now. He also casually drops that Meta glasses exist. Hey, remember that Ray-Ban collab that we did and it's doing pretty well?
Both Quest and the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which are doing way better than I even hoped that they would. As the old saying goes, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So I'll see you all out there.
I like that attitude. I think he should keep that up. But a lot of the internet did take issue with the fact that he was trying to claim that it is an open system, because it's just not. This one X-user points it out. The X-user says, quote, "I don't know what Zuck is smoking when he says Quest is an open platform. As much as I like Quest, in its current state, it is case and point console-like closed platform. There is no other way to describe it. Wake me up when there is other app stores allowed and side loading is native." And he's right. This user is completely right. It's not open. I don't know why he's saying that. Is it more open than Apple? I guess, yes, it is. Then just say that, I suppose. Quest's operating software and overall usability can and will get better. But this video is surprising, and that's kind of the point. Or was it the point? I'm not really sure what the point was. It sure got us talking about it, though. I agree. The user experience in the Apple Vision Pro will be better. Simply put, it is a better product. But at the end of the day, I don't know if there's any use case that I can justify spending the $3,500 on the product, which has reviews of it being pretty much uncomfortable. Is there a reason that CEOs don't normally put out videos like this? I don't think I've seen a CEO do a review of a competitor product like this, especially at this scale. Well, quick videos like this become more so of the norm as the AR, VR supremacy fight continues. Tim, are you next, buddy? Tim, are you going to be making a video like this soon of the Quest 3? Because that could be really funny. I kind of would like to see that. That would be interesting. Let me know your comments below. Do you want to see Tim do this, or maybe CEO should stop doing this? Anyway, those are my 6 a.m. thoughts, buddy. Bye.